Yes, class. So, yesterday we had completed till this question. So, parallelogram law, two things we have calculated. First thing, after drawing the geometrical diagram, we had seen that we have to find out the magnitude. So, how do we calculate the magnitude? R is equal to under root a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta, whatever is the angle between the two vectors. And the diagonal tells us or represents the resultant. Fine. Second thing which we've studied was the direction, because we are talking about vectors and vectors are always incomplete without any direction. So tan beta is equal to b sine theta divided by a plus b cos theta. All right. Some questions were left. Write down the question. Before that, one thing, yes, these cases I wanted to discuss with you so that it eases your numerical solving capacity. See, if two vectors are parallel, three things just remember: 0 degree, 180 degree, and 90 degree. These three cases just remember, because these are often used and you shouldn't waste your time in calculating first from the parallelogram law. So see, when it is 0 degree, so 0 degree means they are parallel to each other. So you know you will put cos 0 degree as 1. So you will be just left with 2ab. Now which identity is this? A plus b whole square, right? A square plus b square plus 2ab, but within this root. Now it means a plus b square. And what is this root? This root is to the power half. So 2 will be cancelled. So when two vectors are in the same direction, we can directly add them. All right. Now, why do we add vectors? This is the reason behind. Whenever before this also, in your lower classes also, when you were solving questions, if two quantities were in the same direction, you used to add them directly. So this is the reason, because they make 0 degree. And if it is anti-parallel, means if it is making 180 degree, if they are anti-parallel to each other. So you know cos 180 degree is equal to -1. So minus 2ab. Now this becomes again an identity, which is a square plus b square, a minus b whole square, right? A minus b whole square under root. So R is simply a minus b. So when two vectors are in opposite direction, we add them. We subtract them. It's just that we put the sign conventions wherever needed. If not, then we continue with it. Perpendicular case is the most important. See, you know cos 90 degree is 0. So entire term of 2ab cos theta, this will be 0, because 90 degree is 0, cos 90 is 0. So you are just left with the first two terms, a square plus b square, which we had seen in the last question also, the question at which we had completed the yesterday's class. So these three cases you should remember. Write it till here, then we'll solve some questions. Start writing from here. Write important cases. Make the heading as important cases and just learn them. See, here it says that greatest and least resultant of two forces acting at a point, they are given as 29 Newton and 5 Newton. All right. Now it says if each force is increased by 3 Newton, find the resultant two new forces acting at right angle to each other. See, greatest and least means, if I say greatest and least, means we are adding and subtracting. So F1 plus F2 is 29 and F1 minus F2 is 5. So we can add it, I think, right? So
Ma'am,
this
F
becomes
plus
34 to F1 is equal to 34, right? So F1 will be equal to 17 Newton. So if F1, let's put this value of F1 here. So 17 minus F2 is equal to 5, right? This will go here. F2 is equal to 17 minus 5. So this is, see, when we are substituting here, we are following the first case only. When we are solving this portion, no, we have not even entered the third line. We are just substituting it from the first two lines only. All right. So if you have 29 and 5 Newton, we have just solved this till now. We have not reached this portion. So let us just at least find out what were the original forces, right? So this becomes 12 Newton. So we have value of F1 and value of F2 with us now. Now let's come to the third line. It says if each force is increased by 3 Newton. Let us find out this first. If each force is increased by 3 Newton. F1 dash will be F1 plus 3. That was 17. So this becomes 20 Newton. F2 dash means now the new force. F2 plus 3. So which is 12 plus 3 equal to 15 Newton. Now these are the values which we have to use. What it is saying? They are at 90 degrees each other. Find out the resultant. So resultant will be simply under root 20 whole square plus 15 whole square. This you can solve and let me know. Let me know what's the answer in the chat column. Write it. All right, 25 meters. Yes, class. Other students also, please open the cameras. Okay, see, we have talked about co-initial vectors in the last class, right? So what were co-initial vectors? We had studied that co-initial vectors were the vectors which have the same initial point, that is the same starting point. Now, there are vectors which are taken in same order and there are vectors which are taken in opposite order. So when the, see, I am writing it here. When the head coincides with the tail of another, this is the head here, this is the tail. Head and tail coincide. This is called as same order. And when head coincide with each other, it is called as the vectors taken in opposite order. Just make a note point and write it down. We'll see triangle law and parallelogram. Polygon law. Write it first. Make a note point and write it. See class, what is this triangle law of vector addition? So basically in triangle law of vector addition, we other students also please open the cameras. Only Alina has followed the instruction. See, triangle law of vector addition here. We have, the way we have the two sides of parallelogram representing in parallelogram law, which were co-initial. Now, if two vectors are present, look here, A and B. If two vectors are present and they are in the same order. Look, heads with tails. They are in the same order. Then their resultant is given by the closing side of this triangle taken in the opposite order. See here, the order is same, and see here, the order is different, that is opposite. So this is the triangle law. Now, what is the magnitude? If, see, geometrical construction you have understood, this was the part of the geometrical construction. So these are the two vectors representing two sides of triangle. These are two vectors A and B representing two sides of triangle in the same order. Then the resultant is given by the third or the closing side taken in opposite order. Fine. Now, magnitude and direction formula remain the same as it is. Write it. I'll show you a question. Write it down first. T class, in this question, if a body, if basically a man is traveling from origin towards east 3 meters and then going upwards towards the north 4 meters, we have to find out the net displacement. So when we were discussing the first chapter, motion in a straight line, right? Before this, that time we had seen that displacement, whenever you have to calculate, you just join the initial and final points, right? So if I join, this is the initial and I join, this is the final point. Now these two are representing the adjacent sides of a triangle and they are taken in the same order also. So it means directly we can apply the, which law? Triangle law. Now, one thing in triangle law also, we take the angle which is present between the two vectors. Triangle's angle is not taken. Means this angle is not taken because this is beta. The angle which the resultant is making with the axis is beta. So this will be beta. This angle we take of the triangle. All right, because this is between the, if I produce this angle will only become. So here it is 90 degrees. Very easy question, class. 4 under root 4 square plus 3 square. Resultant is 5 meters. But this is just the magnitude. For the direction, if we calculate tan beta, firstly I have to mark beta, what I am representing as beta. So that is perpendicular, which is 4 by 3. So beta is tan inverse 4 by. We'll see polygon law also. Quickly write down this, class. So, see, we have completed till here. Now, there's one point. Whenever we have three vectors which are representing the triangle law and everything, what if we take the opposite side, means the resultant side, in the same order? Then see, simply write your resultant as 0. There's a small derivation also for that, but that geometrical part is not in your syllabus. No need to even do that. Nobody is even going to ask you that. Just have it in mind. If it is taken, if the closing side is taken in the same order, then directly sum will be 0. This you can write it further. Now, polygon law, vector addition, what it is, you just have to again understand the geometrical construction, because the question formula is exactly the same. Now see, triangle, we have seen. Parallelogram, we have seen. What about a general polygon, where the sides are taken in the same order? See, one is this, second is this. If I join this, that gives me the triangle law, right? If I have this as the first side, this as the second side, if I join the opposite side, that becomes a triangle law, right? So we don't have to complete the triangle right now. Why? Because triangle law is already available. So why to use any other law, parallelogram law, polygon law, any other law right now? Triangle is already there. So if this comes, then use your triangle law. But what if it is like this? This is not your parallelogram law. This is parallelogram law is only valid if there's a proper parallelogram like this. So this is vector A, this is vector B, this is vector C, vector D, vector E. So for the resultant, we take exactly in the opposite order with the closing side. This is the result. Now magnitude and direction, same formula. And class, one thing, honestly, I'll tell you, polygon law is not very important for your class 11. Those who have to appear for JEE, NEET entrances after class 12, for them this is important. There it can come, it comes in the exam. But for students who are in class 11 right now, for your particularly final exams, polygon law is not very important. Even if a question comes, so you can start solving two. First you solve E and D, then you solve D and C, then you get a resultant, then that resultant and B, then that resultant, and they give you the final result. So this much lengthy question does not come. Focus karo parallelogram law pe. That is the most important. All right, parallelogram law is going to come in your exam. Even some questions are there from triangle law also, but triangle law has this has no derivation. So parallelogram law overtakes here, because that derivation comes in the exam. That derivation is not just for the formula purpose. Proper, I have seen last year also, some of your seniors have sent the papers who were studying. 5-marker questions were there in the unit test also and the half yearly also. I have not seen any question in the final. So in the half yearlies, maximum chances are there. All right, so one last question is left from this topic. Anyways, you write down these two portions, then I'll discuss that final question, and then we'll start with resolution of vectors, because that is also very important. C class, in this question, this is saying magnitude of A plus B is equal to magnitude of A minus B. So through all these laws which we have studied, the parallelogram law first we have studied, the triangle law we have studied, after triangle we had seen this polygon law also. So all these laws, we just have this one formula. That is, for the positive, we have under root A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. This is only how to calculate the magnitude, right? It is saying this is equal to A square plus B square minus 2AB cos theta. Both of these are equal. This is exactly what it is saying, right? Root will be cancelled. So we'll have A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta equal to A square plus B square minus 2AB cos theta. See, A square will be cancelled, B square will be cancelled. So see, if I bring this here, it will become 4AB cos theta equal to 0. So it means I can say cos theta is equal to 0. Theta is equal to 90 degrees. So this is a very, very common repetitive question class. Mark, write it somewhere in your language, anywhere in the corner of the notebook. When you'll be solving questions, you will see even in the entrances, this question has come. Obviously, in the with the formula portion, with the options in the objective manner. But this question has come a lot, and it's not a recent question. This is a very, very old question. All right, write it down. Then we'll come to resolution of vectors. All right, class. Yes, switch on the cameras. Now see, we'll be talking about the resolution of vectors. Now, when we are talking about the resolution of vectors, we have to see the process of, yes, class, cameras. Okay. Yes, Alina, you were saying something regarding this.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so switch on the camera. What about Ali? What about Sajid? Only Abir and Alina do not have to follow the instructions. It's for Ali and Sajid as well. I'll be giving the names today. I was asked to submit the name. So till the last class, Abir also was not following the instructions, but this class, sincerely, she is following. Alina, anyways, she was following in the last class, also this class also. Ali and Sajid. Sajid, you were not even attending the classes. Ali at least is regular. Finally, I've said about the instructions. Let me come to the portion because lesser time is available. When we have the resolution of vectors, it means, see, we have to split the vectors along x-axis and y-axis. All right. So when we're talking about x-axis and y-axis, is it necessary that every vector which is coming, Ali, you have clicked on later. So it's not necessary that every vector has to act along x-axis and y-axis, right? If in case a vector acts in a random direction like this, then what? We have to solve everything along x-axis and y-axis. In this chapter, projectile motion, which we have to start, there also you will see it's nothing, it's just the solving of the x component separately and y component separately. So you should be already aware about the x-axis and y-axis. Now, if a vector is here, let's say this is some vector v. So there are always two components, let's say v1 and v2. And this vector v is actually made by these v1 and v2. And breaking of this v into its v1 and v2 component, this is called as resolution of vectors. Now, there has to be system. This is still not x-axis or y-axis, right? This is still just making some 60-degree or some angle with the axis or something, right? So there has to be some angle when we are talking here. And which angle? What is the exact value of the angle? X and y axis of 90 degree. So straight away we know we want 90 degree between the two, right? So v1 and v2, like here when we are talking about, this is a random splitting of two vectors, right? That will not lead us towards x-axis or y-axis. So what we have to solve and resolve it along x-axis and y-axis such that the components are making an angle of 90 degree to each other. Suppose this 5 Newton is split into 3 Newton and 4 Newton. So 3 Newton and 4 Newton, these should have an angle. This is 4 Newton, this is 3 Newton. This should have an angle of 90 degree between them. All right. And what are these, or what is this process of splitting of vectors? This is resolution of vectors. This is also resolution of vectors. But the components which we have obtained now, like v1 and v2, they are in the previous example. Now which we have obtained, which are at 90 degree, are called rectangular components. And only rectangular components are there in your syllabus, be it your entrances syllabus or simple unit test or class 11. So just focus on rectangular components. They are also very heavy when you will be studying. So do not go into the details of the simple ones. So just focus on rectangular components. Your aim should be to segregate the terms along x-axis and y-axis, obtain all the quantities along x-axis and y-axis, and solve them separately. See class, if you have all the quantities along x-axis as 1, let's say I have all the forces along x-axis, Fx. I have all the components along y-axis, Fy. Now, Fy and Fx, I can solve this at least. They are having 90 degree between them. So under root fx square plus fy square, right? So even if you have many things given, you'll be able to solve them. That's the significance of this, why we are studying it. So this is what is rectangular components. So basically there has to be 90° between them. And just keep this in mind. 90° only will be then called as the rectangular ones. They are perpendicular to each other. Now how to split it? If 5 Newton has been split into 3 and 4 Newton, there has to be some mechanism. Why 4 Newton is not there along the y-axis and why 3 Newton cannot be along the x-axis? If I have written this along x-axis, it means it will always be along x-axis. We cannot interchange this. All right. So look here. If these are two components, if this is one single vector present and these are the two components which are present. Always remember this technique for resolution of vectors. If you have angle with the axis which is made, you will be using cos component. Cosine will come. Trigonometry, you all know, cos theta will be coming. And perpendicular to the other one, sine theta or sine component will be coming. That's it. This is what you have to remember. A vector is there making theta angle with x-axis, right? This is making theta angle with the x-axis. So this will be resolved into A cos theta. The other perpendicular one, this will be A sin theta. And it's not fixed that if theta is made with x-axis, this will always be have A cos theta. Let's change the angle. Okay, Ali. Fine. From the next class then. Okay, Ali. Just keep on responding. Otherwise, it becomes difficult to interact with all of you. If theta is made, suppose here with y-axis, nothing. This will become our cos component, A cos theta, and perpendicular one will become A sin theta. Remember these vectors and calculus. These are till your class 12th, last chapter also. So have a good grip on these chapters. See, kinematics will be repeated lessly, but these portions are like your addition and subtraction. You don't have a separate chapter for them, but you always study, right? Write it, class. Write it down. Okay, class. An extra class I have wanted to arrange with you. So I think tomorrow or Tuesday. Tuesday?
Ma'am, can we do it for Tuesday?
Tuesday, Abhi? Morning?
Yes. Yes, Tuesday
Okay,
morning.
timings, tell me.
Mm,
1 o'clock KSA timing?
Ma'am, can we do 2 o'clock KSA?
2 o'clock KSA fine? 2 o'clock KSA timing. So on Monday, we'll be having extra classes. If anyone has any issue with this, 2 p.m. This is KSA timings, your timings I'm writing. So it will be 1, 12, 11:30, I think. I hope I'm writing it correctly.